Good afternoon, grade 8. I'm Ms. Quantia, and I am going to be doing online teaching for you guys on my YouTube channel. I hope you guys find it helpful and useful, and please feel free to comment below if you want me to discuss anything specific with you or if you have any other questions. Alright, I miss you guys so much. Can't wait to see you in the classroom again. But for now, this is it. So let me see how I can help you guys. Okay, let's get started. We are going to start with the map work, which is the work that has been loaded onto the D6, the most recent bunch of work. And it starts with, there's an introduction that says that we hope you guys are coping well, and then we are going to start looking at the slides. So yeah, let's get started. Okay, I am going to be teaching from my OneNote. Okay, this is week 1 for April 16th to the 23rd. First of all, guys, we need to look at what is a map. Okay, a map is a visual representation of a particular area of the earth. Okay, and you can look at the different examples of maps that have been given to you on your notes. On your notes it says a map is a drawing of a particular area such as a city. When we look at a map, guys, there's certain things that we can observe. Let me just do this again. Okay, on a map we can observe certain things such as, I just wanted to pair the pen. Let's see, things we can observe. Okay, there we go. Now I'm with you. Okay, observe, very important. First of all is a title. Okay, so a title of the map normally tells us where the map or what area it's covering. The next is a scale. Okay, scale. Okay, and the last one is symbols. These are some of the things we can observe on maps that helps us to make sense of a map. So a world map will say at the top, world map. That would be the title. A world map will have a very small scale. Small meaning it has been reduced a lot of times, meaning it's zoomed out a lot in order to fit the whole world onto one piece of paper. And then lastly, we're going to look at symbols. So the symbols can either be symbols of where you can find a shop, or where you can find a river or a mountain, or where you can find houses, where you can find a church, a cemetery, and so on. And we will look at those kind of symbols later on in more detail. Okay, so map symbols provides us with information about a specific map. Next point, why are maps important? So we can gain information about a place. So I don't know what can be found in my immediate environment and where all the shops or churches or schools are located, but if I look at a map of my area that I'm living in, a map will give me the information about that suburb or where I live. Okay. It helps us to locate things easier in an area. Okay, so if we can use a map to get to our friend's house, from our house to our friend's house, we will use maps. So it helps us to locate things easier. So who do you think will use a map? Okay, tourists, definitely, when they are traveling. Pilots will use maps to see where the landing strip is, where they can land the airplane. And you can maybe think of a few more examples of who else would use a map. Me and you will also use maps. Us, the people, use maps every day, whether it is to find out where a place is, and I know for myself in the mornings to drive to school, I use maps to see where traffic can be, where the most traffic is. And yeah, you get different apps or different programs where you can use a map in that kind of way. Okay, the next point, and we are on your slides, we are looking at types of maps. So the first map we're going to look at is a world map. Okay, now a world map says it in its name, it's a map of the world. It is used to show us countries and continents and the different oceans around the world. For example, up here we can see the Arctic Ocean, down here is the South Atlantic Ocean, there's the South Pacific Ocean, North Pacific Ocean, Indian Ocean, and the Pacific Ocean. Alright, but we can also see the different continents. So over here we can see Australia, for example. Over here we can see Greenland up here, okay? And then we can see China, and you can see Africa and Russia and so on. So those are the different continents. When we look at countries, we can look at there's South Africa, there's Botswana, there's Namibia, there's Zimbabwe. So we can see all the countries on a world map. Okay, that is a world map. The next type we are looking at is a physical map. A physical map shows us physical features such as rivers, mountains, lakes, and borders. So over here, the red line you are looking at, this one over here, indicates the border between South Africa and all the other countries. So if I want to go into Botswana, I will need to cross a border. When I need to go into Namibia, I will need to cross a border. You can also see our main rivers on this map. There's the Vaal River, and it appears blue because it has to do with water. There's the Orange River, and obviously we have a lot more rivers than just these two. Other things we can see is mountains. So if you look at this picture, there's some areas that appear brown. So for example, along this side here, these are the Drakensberg Mountains, and they actually run all the way through, okay, in smaller sections. Okay, so this is a physical map, physical features that we can observe. Climatic map, okay. Climatic says that we can observe the climate of an area in different colors. So each color represents a different type of climate that can be experienced in that area. If you look at the big red section over here, it is showing us that this is a moderate eastern plateau. Okay, so the climate would be different over here than what it is, for example, where the blue is down in Cape Town. So in Cape Town, they have a Mediterranean climate. Alright, so climatic map shows us climate of areas. Next type of map is a political map. So now a political map, guys, shows us the border of provinces and countries, and it shows us the city's name. So normally the capital city. So if we look at Gauteng, there's Gauteng. That's a very ugly line that I drew. Okay, there's Gauteng. Okay, and the capital cities in Gauteng over there. You can see the capital is Johannesburg, and then we have Pretoria there as well. We can see the border of where each province ends, and we can also see the border of South Africa running along here. Okay, so it's important for you to know what the different types of maps look like. The last type of map, and this is a very important map we're going to work with when doing map work, is called the topographical map. So a topographical map shows us the height of land, or the height above sea level, and other features using symbols. Okay, so we can observe on this map the height above sea level of this specific contour line that I'm drawing on. This specific contour line, the height is 700 meters above sea level. All height on a topographical map is given in meters. So this line over here would be 800 meters above sea level. And then they use different symbols to show us different things. For example, if you look at this stippled line running over here, this is called a footpath or a hiking trail. That is how a hiking trail is represented on a topographical map. Alright, those are your types of maps that we need to know. Like I said, the most important one would be this one right over here, which is our topographical map. Okay, and we will look more into detail about those kind of maps. Okay, next we are looking at the map key. A map key will have different symbols in it. So you can see all the symbols are listed here, and it will help us to find certain places on a map. So if you want to look on a map where birds are nesting, for example, you're going to keep your eye out for that symbol. Okay, this one right over here. And yeah, it gives us information about the map and helps us to identify certain features. Right, I want to move on. Now we're far into your notes already when we come to atlas work. So you'll see at the beginning of your notes, your slideshow, there was an activity on atlas work. So atlases helps us to locate places on Earth, and it's a book that contains maps, charts and facts about the world. So you might have an atlas at home, so you can go and have a look there, so you have a better understanding of what it looks like and what it can be used for. When we look at the index of an atlas, it will help us to find certain places. The index of an atlas can either be found in the very front of an atlas or in the very back of an atlas. Okay, here's an example over here. Is an example of what the index would look like, and I'm going to show you what each one of these things stand for. Cape Town, okay, is obviously referring to the name of the place. Western Cape refers to where Cape Town, in which province Cape Town can be found. Then we have SA. SA stands for South Africa, and that is then the country in which we can locate Cape Town. 26 is the page number of the atlas, the page number where we can find Cape Town on a map. Then we get B2. B2 refers to the grid block or the grid code. So you'll see in an atlas all the maps are divided into blocks like this. And then each row says A, B, C, D, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. So in B2 is where you would be able to find Cape Town. Alright, then this is an atlas, and an atlas is important to understand how to read it and how to find certain places. If we move along, we find the scale. So like I said in the beginning over here to you guys, I said there's always 3 things you can note on a map: a title, a scale, and the symbols. We've looked at title and we've looked at symbols. Now we are going to look at the scale. So if we look at the scale of a map, okay, a scale shows us how much an area has been reduced to fit it onto one piece of paper. So if a map has a small scale, for example 1 to 250,000, it means it has been reduced a lot of times. A lot of times, many times, because it's a bigger number. Everything on the map will look smaller, very important. So it will look smaller even though it has a bigger number over here. This is, for example, a world map. A world map needs to be zoomed out a lot in order for everything to fit onto one page. So it's been reduced many times. Alright, a large scale would be something like 1 to 500. This means that the picture we are looking at has been reduced fewer times, and everything on the map will look bigger and you can see more detail. For example, a map of Gauteng. So this map, a large scale map, would be zoomed out less. Okay, it would be zoomed out fewer times than a small scale map. So if I give you two scales, 1 to 500 and 1 to 250,000, and I had to ask you, which one has a larger scale? You don't simply look at the larger number. That's not right. You must look at which one has been reduced fewer times. And in this case, it would be 1 to 500. Okay, I can almost guarantee you that this will be very important for upcoming assessments. To know this, the difference between the two types of scales. Okay, then we get our types of scales, which is word scale, ratio scale, and a linear scale. So word scale is pretty simple. It writes it out in words. So it says 1 centimeter on the map equals 50,000 centimeters in reality. A ratio scale is when this is written as a ratio, meaning 1 to, I get my 1 over there, to 50,000, and I get my 50,000 from over there. This is a ratio scale. Then a linear scale is a physical line at the bottom of a map that represents a scale. So for example, it would look something like this. I'm going to draw it for you guys. So it looks something like this. It's a line. And then every centimeter, they would draw a line like this. And then they will write 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and they'll write you the unit, kilometers. So 1 centimeter equals 1 kilometer. Okay, so all scales will be different, and there's 3 different ways in which you can write it. Word scale, ratio scale, and linear scale. Alright, now after discussing all of that, I want us to move back to the activity in the beginning when we look at an atlas. So if we look at that example, question 1 says, how are the place names listed at the back of an atlas? It is listed alphabetically, alright? Name 2 ways the index helps us to locate a place. Okay, we get a page number and we get a grid block. So it's easy for us to find a specific place. What is the place that can be found below Boston in the index? Look for yourself. You'll see that it's Bothaville. Number 4 says, why is Cameroon in capital letters? Cameroon is in capital letters because it's a country. Okay, and then question 5 says, what are the coordinates for Cape Town? And you can just read that from the example given on the second piece of paper that you can see it over there. And then question 6 says, in which grid block would I find Brakpan? And that is in C2. See if you can complete the activity before looking at the answers, and then you can test yourself. Alright, guys, grade 8. I hope this has helped you a little bit to understand what's going on. Please ask if you have any other questions, and I will see you guys hopefully soon. And yes, like I said, please comment below if you have any other questions or if you want me to explain anything in particular. Have a lovely day.